Shall I start from beginning? So this presentation is about efficacy and safety of low-dose colchicine after myocardial infarction. So when we see this article, it was published in NEJM with the title "Efficacy and Safety of Low-Dose Colchicine After Myocardial Infarction," done by authors Tardif JC, Kaus S, and Waters DD in 2019. So the basic topic which they did was trying to explore the role of inflammation in the process of atherosclerotic heart disease. So as we know, in atherosclerosis, there is a great pathophysiology like formation of plaques, activation of platelets. So there is a role of inflammation there. So they thought that why can't we give an anti-inflammatory in atherosclerosis so that it can reduce the inflammation and can reduce the adverse cardiovascular outcomes. So there were two studies which were done before this clinical trial, that is CANTOS and CIRT. As you can see here, CANTOS study, in this study they used interleukin 1 beta inhibitor canakinumab, which showed a positive result, that is 15% lower risk of cardiovascular outcomes. So when compared to the placebo in individuals with established atherosclerotic heart disease. But one limitation of this study was slightly higher incidence of severe infection. As it is a potent immunosuppressant, it can cause it can also lead to severe infections. So this wasn't accepted by many physicians. So it is not in use also now. So the next trial which was done after this was CIRT trial. That is, in this trial they have used methotrexate, which is a weak immunomodulator, but there was no benefit. That is no change in the outcomes. So the researchers were searching for a widely used alternative, that is anti-inflammatory treatment. Then came the idea of colchicine. So as you know, colchicine is inexpensive. It can be orally administered. It has potent anti-inflammatory activity, and then it has a long history of use. What are the indications of colchicine? Anyone? Indications of colchicine?
Gout,
Gout and pericarditis. Okay. It has a well understood ADR profile also. So as we can see, the major side effect of colchicine is, anyone? It's diarrhea. So uh, results from a small uncontrolled trial of colchicine. See, as you can see in this trial, Lodoco, this also did the same, had the same hypothesis that anti-inflammatory medications, when given in atherosclerosis, can reduce the cardiovascular events. But the individuals or the sample size was just 532. So, and the study was uncontrolled. So this was the basis for the Colcott trial, that is the one which I am doing now. This trial was based on this small uncontrolled trial of colchicine used. So this is the first trial which reduce to see the role of inflammatory agents to reduce recurrent event risk in acute post MI period. So none of these studies have been done in this particular aspect. um, so when we see the actual colchicine mechanism, so how can it be beneficial in atherosclerosis? As you can see in this, it acts on the granulocytes and concentrates in WBCs and blocks the tubulin polymerization. Thereby, microtubule formation is affected. So there is interference with migration and inflammatory function. So the immune activity is reduced by this colchicine. There is also one more thing, that is mitotic spindle action. That is, colchicine is a well-known anti-mitotic. It causes mitosis blockade. So there are other mechanisms also, as you can see here. It can also prevent the formation of reactive oxygen species here. It can prevent formation of IL-1 beta, TNF alpha, and nitrous oxide. So in this, the main culprit, that is IL-1 beta, it is responsible for the inflammation in atherosclerosis. So by blocking this IL-1 beta formation, we can actually target the reduction in cardiovascular outcomes. So the search strategy which I used for getting this article is, so once a consultant actually like told me to read about atherosclerotic heart disease, so about the treatment and new trials which are done on this. So when I checked about that, I got these two trials, that is canakinumab trial and colchicine trial. So the way which I searched is NCBI, and then the PubMed database I searched, and in that NEJM articles, in that new clinical trials on EHD. With this, I got this article, got these articles. So the research methodology which the author used was, in the study design, it was a multi-centered trial, double-blind, three-arm, and randomized control trial, where the patients were divided into two groups at 1:1 ratio. Sample size was 4,745. In this, colchicine group contained 2,366 and placebo group contained 2,379. And the place which the study was done was 167 sites, that is in 12 countries. And then the enrollment was started from December 2015 till August 2018. And then the median follow-up, it was up to 22 months. And then the analysis for this trial was the intention to treat. So the primary outcome measured was death from CV events, resuscitated cardiac arrest, myocardial infarction, stroke, or urgent hospitalization. I'll come to the inclusion and exclusion criteria. So the patients aged greater than 18 years were recruited, documented acute myocardial infarction within the last 30 days. So once a patient had an episode of MI in the past 30 days, they were recruited into the study, and then they were treated according to the national guidelines, like was on antiplatelet therapy, statin or RAS inhibitor, beta blocker, according to the guidelines, were also included, or completed any planned percutaneous interventions for MI, PCI, also, all those were also recruited. And then females who are not of childbearing potential or is on durable contraception were also included. And then judged to be in good general health by the principal investigator and willing and able to comply with the study protocol also included. The exclusion mainly poorly controlled medical condition. That is, New York Health Association. There are many grades here, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those who are having 3 or 4 stage heart failure were excluded from the study, and then ejection fraction less than 35%, and or stroke within the last 3 months were also excluded. Like, because in this setting, patient might get another extra risk by giving colchicine, might be, so they had excluded. Or coronary artery bypass was done for the patient within the past 3 years or planned to do, or cardiogenic shock or hemodynamic instability, if it's there, were excluded. History of cancer or lymphoproliferative disease, like, as colchicine, as I told, it's an immunosuppressant. When we give with a patient with cancer, then it might still exacerbate the preliminary condition. So, and then inflammatory bowel disease or chronic diarrhea, if the patient has, like, as I told, the major side effect of colchicine is diarrhea, so we can't give in these kind of patients. And pre-existing progressive neuromuscular disease or CPK level greater than 3 upper limits, unless due to MI, which is allowed in that case. And then other exclusions were, if the patient has significant anemia, lymphopenia, thrombocytopenia, transaminitis, bilirubin elevation, or kidney injury. And then cirrhosis, liver impaired patients also. And then pregnant, and then alcohol abused, or using or planning to use chronic systemic steroids. As I said, again, the immunosuppressive aspect. And then currently taking colchicine for a chronic condition. As you told, colchicine is given for gout. So if the patient is already taking, those patients were excluded. And then history of allergy or sensitivity to colchicine. And then what all conditions which the investigator considered to be inappropriate were also excluded. The intervention which was done in the study was colchicine 0.5 mg daily in the drug group, and the placebo group, it was randomized in a ratio of 1:1. And then randomization occurred within 30 days of AMI, acute myocardial infarction. And then any revascularization procedure, that is PCI, should be completed prior to the enrollment of the patient, and have to be completed before. And then clinical evaluations was also done at 1 month and 3 months after randomization. So, and then every 3 months after, the patient was clinically evaluated. So this is the actual study flow, study design, where patients underwent randomization after all the vascularization procedures were divided into these two groups called treatment group and the placebo group. These many number of people completed the trial, and then the survival status were this number. So the end point, that the outcomes, primary and secondary outcomes, which was measured, I have put it in this table. So as you can see, primary endpoint was death from cardiovascular causes, or resuscitated cardiac arrest, MI, stroke, urgent hospitalization for angina leading to revascularization. Uh, Secondary endpoints were death, DVT or pulmonary embolism, or atrial fibrillation. So all these were outcomes which were measured over the period follow-up. And then the main biomarkers of information, like as I said, we are giving colchicine to reduce the inflammation and reduce the CV risk. So the biomarkers which were used in this study were high sensitive CRP, which was done at baseline and at 6 months. And then this two biomarkers, that is HSCRP and WBCs, which are a prominent biomarkers, both were studied during baseline and at 6 months, but was not done for the complete population. Like only a small and selected subgroup, they had tested this. And then the major findings of this study was associated with a 1.6 absolute reduction in primary endpoint. So there were it had a benefit for stroke also. Like as you can see, 74% relative risk reduction was there, which was most marked. And then was also in this, as you can see, canakinumab, as I said previously, it had potent immunosuppression and had many much risk of severe infections. So this colchicine had no those kind of adverse event profile. So it was beneficial than the canakinumab trial. And then a small group of patients, as I said, there was reduction in CRP level, which occurred over the first 6 months after MI. That is up to greater than 65% reduction. So one more thing is, colchicine did not increase the incidence of septic shock as canakinumab did. So it did not increase the incidence in this trial. So as in this primary and secondary endpoints, as you can see, all these primary endpoints, death from cardiovascular causes, resuscitated cardiac arrest, MI, all these, you can see the percentage of people suffering or presenting with these kind of endpoints are less compared to the placebo group, all the primary and secondary endpoints. So this is the adverse event profile of the patient throughout the follow-up period. As I said earlier, diarrhea and gastrointestinal event were the major side effects which the patient suffered. Though the drug group had major side effects, like we can expect adverse effects in the drug group itself, because in the placebo group, patients were on aspirin, I mean those antiplatelets, RAS inhibitor, beta blockers. So the adverse event profile in this group was little high when compared to the placebo group. This is the actual finding of the trial. As you can see here, colchicine treated patients, the blue color one, has less cumulative incidence when compared to the placebo group, which has more cumulative incidence. The second graph is just extension of the y-axis. there is nothing, there's not a different graph, there's the same graph here, this is just enlarged here. So though a little bit of benefit from colchicine, that is 1.6%, it had the main benefit was the reduction in biomarker, that is CRP and WBC. So the critical appraisal of this study which I read was, so the median follow-up of the trial was 23 months, as I said earlier. So the long-term safety and efficacy of colchicine cannot be understood in this actually. Like only for 23 months we can't we can't get the complete TDR profile, and then we can't get the actual efficacy of the drug also. So this was one limitation, or one point which I thought um, which is limiting the study. And then findings apply only to the acute post-MI period. So those patients excluding post-MI were not included in the study. So the efficacy of colchicine in those patients are not found it. So, and then small number of individuals who are only done this inflammatory biomarker testing, that is CRP and WBC, not for the all, not for all the patients. And that too, it was done at baseline and follow up only. So we can't confirm that it was due to colchicine itself. There was reduction with the subgroup, but we can't tell it as it was the main the colchicine was responsible for this. The study concluded that among patients with recent MI, colchicine at a dose of 0.5 mg daily reduced significantly the ischemic cardiovascular events than the placebo. This was about the study. Any questions regarding like any of the methodology or any result of this? If you don't have questions, I have some questions with this. So,
Any questions?
No, Sharad.
Huh?
I have one question, sir.
Ashika.
Patients who are treated with
No,
colchicine
sir,
are also
no
on
questions.
antiplatelets and other anti-MI agents, no?
So this
When
the colchicine
we are
group.
talking about
Ashika.
continue.
Continue.
The thing is, when you're talking about these adverse effects which are occurred in colchicine group versus the placebo, you said like colchicine was like one patient had more side effects when you see the overall total adverse events.
Yeah. I'll just
Like so those patients are also, along with colchicine, they are also receiving the treatment which the placebo people are receiving, right?
correct. So they'll be having more risk of adverse events when compared to the placebo
Yeah.
event. Yeah.
So that signifies that colchicine is causing this, or like other agents are
No, that
causing
might
this,
be
right?
one reason, but multiple drug therapy also might be one reason. We can't exclude that also. Like colchicine is addition in this group. That's all. Placebo, they'll be
Yeah.
receiving all the drugs. Here in this
All
group,
the
colchicine is an addition for that. That's all.
drugs plus colchicine.
Yeah.
That's it. No?
That's it. So these adverse effects might be due to colchicine also with other drugs also might. So
Okay. Yeah, that is what. Like we can't isolate the
we
adverse
can't
effect to one drug.
one drug.
particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. So I have some questions here. So patient with gout is being taking colchicine from chronic like so many days, and then have you seen the prevalence of MI in those patients? Anyone? Like what might be the result? Like will it be increased or will it be reduced in those patients? Will it be high or will it be low?
I don't think it makes a difference in this patient.
No, actually, some studies show that actually there is a reduced prevalence of MI in patients taking colchicine, gout patients taking colchicine. It seems like 2 or 3 studies say that actually. One more
But
question.
in this study which you just presented was like exclusion criteria, like patients who are being treated with colchicine
Uh,
for gout are excluded, right?
they have excluded in this, but when they studied retrospectively, like those patients, gout patients taking colchicine, they had seen the prevalence of MI also in them. So in them, that's a different study actually, not this. So
Okay.
in that they got there is reduced prevalence of MI in them. So
Okay.
this can also say that it has a protective role. It adds a point with this trial also.
Okay.
Is it used in current practice? Has anyone seen it's being given to patients, acute MI patients?
Not in acute MI. Like patients being prescribed, but not in acute MI for
Not
the
in
gout.
acute MI.
Just
Main limitation was this trial. Only one trial has been done on this particular aspect. Like we need more number of studies, and we need this drug to be included in the guidelines also, like treatment of acute MI or any cardiovascular disease. So unless until that happens, the current practice thing might not be uh, coming into it. And then, as I said, in the mechanism, colchicine mechanism, it it has an anti-mitotic action and also reduces microtubule formation. Any anti-cancer drug which has the same mechanism, which has the same mechanism of this, like inhibition of microtubule formation. Paclitaxel. So I got a doubt that why can't colchicine be used in cancer chemotherapy, because both have the same mechanism. When paclitaxel is used in cancer chemotherapy, why can't colchicine? So anyone does know the answer regarding like why can't we use in that?
Can you repeat the question, Sharad?
So when I said the mechanism of colchicine, it acts on it inhibits the microtubule formation. This paclitaxel also has the same mechanism. When paclitaxel is used in chemotherapy, why can't colchicine be used? It's not used currently, so
could be like the effectiveness towards inhibition of microtubule is less when compared to those.
no, both has same effect actually, paclitaxel and colchicine
I
on
think
the
it's
mic.
because colchicine it causes mucosal damage. So chemotherapy can be induced once the cell starts once it starts dividing.
Ah, that,
Since colchicine, as you told, it inhibits the mitosis.
ah,
Thereby, it causes this intestinal mucosal damage, right?
yeah,
So further, it will be an adverse effect if you use colchicine there.
that
Is it
might be
that?
one reason, but actual reason is it
I have
concentrates.
one thing in mind.
Ashik,
I don't know like to how what extent it could be related. The thing is, you said this adverse effect, main adverse effect of colchicine would be diarrhea, right?
ah,
And this chemotherapy, I mean, when you see the chemotherapy, it would be nausea and vomiting,
yeah, nausea, no. GI side effects you
and
meant.
both could precipitate dehydration symptoms and worsen the conditions when
Okay.
used alone. I
Ah.
guess I'm not sure.
That might be one reason also, but when I saw the articles, like why is it not used, those articles said that it concentrates in normal cells, like it concentrates more in normal cells, causing cytotoxicity. So when we compared other anti-cancer cells, this had more normal cell cytotoxicity also. So we can't give in, that is high dose colchicine cannot be given in cancer chemotherapy, but low dose still can be given, but no trial has been done still. They
But
haven't used.
many studies are there for low dose.
No, low dose in chemotherapy. No,
Low dose as chemotherapy,
it's
colchicine,
there.
because it causes like senescence of
Okay.
cancer cells, like deterioration of the cancer cells.
Okay, so low dose it can be
Yes,
used in
they
chemotherapy. High dose cannot be used.
Yeah, high dose cannot be used.
Okay.
In what all kinds of cancer colchicine can be used?
I don't know actually, but only low dose has been tried. It seems. No, I don't. I don't know. I should see the articles actually. Like what kind of cancers.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Any other question?
Excuse me, sir. I don't have any question about these presentations, but can you start this recording, please?
Yep.